If you're waiting on a family or employment-based green card, the August 2026 Visa Bulletin just moved some categories forward by over a year and a half, but there's a warning buried in this good news that could catch thousands of applicants off guard in just a few months. In this video, I'm breaking down every category that moved, why EB2 India is completely stuck, and my predictions for what happens in September that could mean you need to file right now instead of waiting. So, the August 2026 bulletin was released last week, and we want to give you a breakdown like we do every single month. We have some big wins in the family-based categories, modest movement in the employment-based categories, and I have some predictions for September 2026. So I'll break it down for you. I'll give you some analysis, then we'll go through the charts, and finally, we'll talk about the predictions. In this video, just like we do every single month, I want to analyze and break down the August 2026 Visa Bulletin. We have seen some nice movement in family-based immigration and some modest movement in employment-based immigration. In this video, I want to break down the different categories, and toward the end, I'll provide some predictions for September 2026. So, let's get started. As you will see in a minute when I show you the charts, family-based immigration is charging forward because the State Department is trying to use up all the numbers before the end of the year. The end of the year is September 30th, and the new fiscal year starts on October 1st, 2026. On the employment-based side, categories like EB2 and EB3 are hitting a wall, specifically for India and China. And as you can see when I show you the charts, some of these categories are already unavailable, which means all the visas in those categories were already used up. As we summarize every month, the Visa Bulletin tells us a lot about where the numbers are moving. For adjustment of status filing, USCIS will continue using the dates for filing chart for family-sponsored categories. For employment-based categories, USCIS will also continue using the final action dates chart. This is the same as the previous months. So if you look at the employment-based categories, which I want to start with, this is not something that we've seen big movement in, unfortunately, in August. EB1 still remains current for the rest of the world. China advanced by 1 month to July 1st, 2023. EB1 for India has very high demand. A lot of people from India are applying for these categories. I'm talking to Indian exceptional ability engineers, founders, and other professionals every single day, and they are filing EB1 cases. So this probably may make this category unavailable, maybe in September, because the demand is really high, but it remains to be seen. EB2 members of the professions remains unavailable for India. It's already been used up for India, and except for China, all other countries are still current. So if you are applying for EB2, you are current for August 2026. EB3 professionals and skilled workers also saw movement. EB3, China advanced 10 days to January 1st, 2022. The rest of the world, including Mexico, advanced by 1 month to September 1st, 2024. EB3 other workers, China advanced 1 month to May 1st, 2019. Worldwide and Mexico advanced 1 month to April 1st, 2022. EB4 special immigrants advanced 1 month for all countries. EB5 unreserved India remains unavailable at this time, but the rest of the world is current. Highlights on the family side. F1, Mexico advanced by 3.3 weeks to December 1st, 2007. The rest of the world, including China and India, advanced by 10 months to December 15th, 2013. F2A, this is the final action dates chart. Mexico advanced by 1 year and 6.7 months to July 22nd, 2025. F2A, all other countries advanced by 1 year and 6.6 months to July 20th, 2026. This is big news for green card holders who are filing for their spouses. They'll be able to get green cards really fast. And if you're inside the United States, you can already file for adjustment of status. F2B, unmarried sons and daughters. F2B Philippines advanced by 2.4 weeks to June 1, 2013. China and India advanced by 1.3 months to January 1, 2018. F3, married sons and daughters of U.S. citizens. Worldwide and China advanced by 1 month to May 15, 2012. This is a modest movement. F4, brothers and sisters of U.S. citizens. Worldwide and China advanced by 8 months to September 1, 2009. Once again, any advancement in this category, where people have waited almost a year or more, is huge. These are people who have been waiting for their green cards for years and years. In the dates for filing chart, this is for people who are currently inside the United States in lawful status. We saw some modest changes there as well. F1 Mexico advanced by 2 months to December 1, 2008. F2A all countries are current. F2B, unmarried sons and daughters, saw a small movement of 6.8 months to January 1, 2009. F3, married sons and daughters, moved 2.7 months to March 1, 2013, which is a nice movement. F4, brothers and sisters of U.S. citizens, moved 3.7 months to June 22, 2010. As you can see, we have a lot of movement specifically in the family-based categories. Let me talk to you a little bit about why this is happening and what shifts I see in the family-based petitions. F2A, like I showed you, is the headline story, with an advancement of over 18 months to July 20, 2026, which means that not only if you're inside the United States and you're the spouse of a green card holder can you file because it's current, but if you're overseas, the wait time to get an interview and immigrate to the United States is now shortened by almost a year and a half. That is unheard of, and it is very good news for people who have been waiting for a really long time. Even in categories like F1, F2B, and F3, average advancements of over 6 months are great because many of these categories were stuck for a long time. Why do we see such massive jumps in F2A, F3, and F4? The reason is that the State Department has many unused visas because there are country-specific limits and lower processing volumes in some places, so those visas must be distributed somehow. Once again, because the State Department must use these visas before the fiscal year ends, they are pushing hard in August, and maybe you'll see a bit of a push also in September, which I'll talk about in the predictions in a minute. But let me give you a cautionary word here. Because they are front-loading a lot of these visas right now, we might see a backward movement in early October through November. F2A may not be moving that fast, or some predictions are saying that sometime next year you'll see F2A potentially become unavailable or retrogress slightly, even for the dates for filing chart, which means that people currently inside the United States may not be able to file adjustment of status. So I'm saying this to you. If you are married to a green card holder and you're thinking about filing for a green card, you should do it right now. Before I break down the employment-based predictions for September and why acting now really matters, if you're finding this useful, go ahead and subscribe so you catch these breakdowns as soon as they drop. So let's talk about employment-based categories. Final action dates have shown some movement in China. Everything in red is moving 1 month to July 1, 2023. EB2 India remains unavailable because of the high demand. The rest of the world is still current, which means you can still apply for a green card under the EB2 category because it is current. EB3 professionals and skilled workers also show some movement here. EB3 India advanced 10 days to January 1, 2022. All other countries advanced 1 month to September 1st, 2024. Again, it is movement, but it is very modest. EB3 other workers will remain at January 1st, 2014 for India. China moves 1 month forward to May 1st, 2019. All other countries will advance 1 month to April 1st, 2022. EB4 saw a small movement 1 month to October 15th, 2022. EB5 India remains unavailable, and all the rest of the world is current. So it is very modest movement, but once again it is happening because there are more visas available for the family-based petitions that are now being distributed, and also because employer-based cases are still affected by demand, country limits, and slower processing in some places. So let's understand a little bit about what is happening. EB2 India, for example, is unavailable. The demand for these visas is just too high and the supply is too low, and that is the reason why you see in some of these categories that they are completely unavailable, and India is one of them. EB1 for India held steady at October 15, 2022, but that might change as well, specifically in the next month or so, because the demand for EB1 India is extremely high and people are applying for these visas. So you can see the squeeze and the shortage on these visas starting to appear very soon. The big picture is that employment-based green cards are getting very hot. They are in high demand. People are applying for EB2 PERMs through their employers. People are applying for EB2s on their own. We are seeing a huge surge in self-petitions on EB1s. We can see it in our office, and I am sure other attorneys who do this kind of work are seeing the same thing. So it is happening across the board. The bottom line is that if you are ready to file your green card based on an employment case, you need to act fast and not wait because we do not know what is going to happen next month or the month after. Once again, why is this happening specifically on the employment-based side? Typically, August and September are tight months for visas because we are coming to the end of the fiscal year. Whatever they have, and whatever is not being distributed can make a category become unavailable. The State Department also has country-based limits, and if one country has too much demand for a category, it can become unavailable, just like what happened with India. So what we have seen is that family categories are charging ahead because they have visas to use, and employment-based cases are now being squeezed down because visas are running out. But all of that gets recalibrated. It starts over again on October 1st, and we are going to see different numbers and different movements moving forward. So let's talk about some predictions for September 2026. On the family-based cases, F2A will likely still be current in September 2026. F1, F2B, and F3 will see modest movement forward, not more than 3 months at most for any of these categories. The F4 category, we do not think it is going to move anywhere in September. It is just a prediction, of course. Mexico and the Philippines specifically are expected to see no or very little movement in the September Visa Bulletin. Once again, remember, if you are a green card holder and you are married to a foreign national, F2A may retrogress at some point in the next few months, so you need to act fast and file as soon as possible. On employment-based categories, September is going to be a defensive Visa Bulletin. For the September Visa Bulletin, the government is going to have what is called a defensive Visa Bulletin. It is protecting the remaining numbers and allocating them as needed. We think EB2 for the rest of the world potentially could retrogress even in September. That is a high likelihood scenario. EB1 India will be unavailable. EB2 worldwide could also potentially move backward. EB2, China is not going to change much. The EB3 category will likely stay the same as in the August Visa Bulletin. EB5 for the rest of the world remains current, India remains unavailable, and countries like China may see slow movement backward as well. Also, the more people are not getting interviews, these delays and visa allocations are going to affect how the rest of the fiscal year looks. Because, once again, if people early in the year are not getting appointments and visas are not being allocated, it is going to have a major impact on the second part of the year moving forward. So, what you can do right now, if you are in the middle of the visa process, is try to move as fast as you can. Provide all the documents you need. Do not delay the process because you want to stay ahead of the process as much as possible and avoid falling into these traps and being stuck in visa backlogs. Follow for more updates like this one and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next.